Hi guys, Scott Woodward to preview the State of Origin 2014 Game 1 between New South Wales and Queensland in the 100th running of the Origin. And lucky Queensland, they have two games in Brisbane, and history suggests that that is a massive advantage, especially if you win Game 1. And the stats certainly suggest that Queensland will be winning Game 1. There's been 48 games played at Suncorp Stadium, and Queensland have won 30 of them. That's a 62.5% win record. But what is more significant is in the last 16 games, the Queensland Maroons have managed to score on average 23.4 points, just under 24 points per game. And New South Wales have only been able to average just under 16. That's a 7.5 point gap. So, based on the last 16 games, Queensland averaged more than 7.5 points than New South Wales. That's more than a converted try, and basically that's about what the bookmakers agree with in Game 1, and the prices match that. About 6.5 to 7.5 point start you can get if you want to back New South Wales to win this game. And if you have a look at the teams and how Queensland have come up, I don't know if you want to go running to do that. The Queensland team has certainly shaped up very well. And yes, look, I agree. Um, the great players have starting to age, but having said that, they're all in career best form. Billy Slater, Greg Inglis, Johnathan Thurston, Cooper Cronk. I don't think I've seen them going better. And we might add their up and coming superstar, Dally Chevy Evans, who's on the bench. He's also in career best form, even though the last 2 weeks I think he's been playing injured, and yet he still got man of the match last week, giving an idea how good he is. But Billy Slater didn't have an off season, but his last month or so for the Storm has been unbelievable, particularly his last game against South Sydney when he took on Greg Inglis and finished on top of him, and not many guys do that. Greg obviously will be parked into the centres, and while that's not his perfect position, it suits his team perfectly, and that's why he's there. He hasn't got the communication skills that Billy Slater's got at fullback, and he does a great job there in the centres, as he will with Justin Hodges. Johnathan Thurston and Cooper Cronk, what they've done this season, 2014, has been absolutely outstanding. I don't think I've seen either of them have a bad game. And I want to talk a little bit about Matt Scott. Last year, Matty Scott had his typical normal good game, but he went into that series injured. And this year, he's 100% fit, which is scary for New South Wales. Last week, I don't think I've seen him have a better game. He went over 200 metres and he was just an absolute dynamo, ripping shreds through a very, very tough Roosters forward pack. He was just a standout forward. And if he plays like that, I think he can almost register a win for Queensland right now. He was absolutely unstoppable. You add him with Cameron Smith, and while Cameron Smith hasn't gone ahead and leaps and bounds this year, he doesn't have to. He's just been able to maintain his best ever form, and that's all they need from him. And that's what he's been doing this year for the Storm. Hasn't been an absolute standout man of the match every week, but he's still been a dominant player every week, and he's still probably the smartest player in the NRL. Look, the Queensland pack, like the New South Wales pack, they aren't big. They've gone for more athletic forward packs, with Matt Scott being the biggest forward for Queensland. New South Wales have also got a small forward pack. When I say small, Aaron Woods and obviously James Tamu, who was a giant, will be packing down in that side. But the rest of the guys are really on the small side and athletic, which is the way to go now in the faster, more up-tempo games that the coaches prefer to play. I'll come back and touch on some of those players. I do want to talk about Chris McQueen, who played 80 minutes last year, and he's been coming off the bench for South Sydney, mainly because of injury. But he's important to Queensland because he's a left side player, and they have got an abundance of right side forwards to call upon. And guys like Josh Papali, Matt Gillette, Ben Teo, they all prefer to play on the right hand side, and so does Aidan Gira, who's making his debut for Queensland and very well deserved. He's been on fire for the Roosters. I want to talk a little bit about New South Wales. They're certainly going to rely heavily on their two best players, Jared Hayne and Robbie Farah. Jared Hayne is going that good. He's ousted Josh Dugan from a spot in the New South Wales side, and Josh Dugan is an outstanding player, and he can't get into this side because Jared Hayne has just been too dominant at club level, and he just had to be the fullback. It's not what I thought was going to happen early on, but you just can't not have him in the one position the way he's been going. Robbie Farah, he's only had one game back from an injury. It's a little bit concerning. He's certainly far and away the best hooker forward in New South Wales. Look, he'll go well. He come back from a man of the match performance last week, but this is a start of Origin, and no doubt he'll be getting very tired at the end of the quarters. There is no doubt about that, and I'm sure he'll be targeted. Some of the other guys that might be a little bit underdone in the New South Wales side is Bo Scott, who didn't play last week because of injury. Paul Gallen has only had a couple of games back all year, and he can't be match hard and fit, but he's just got an incredible motor, and he just seems to keep on going. But once again, this is State of Origin, and he may struggle in the last 5 or 10 minutes of each half. Luke Lewis is another guy who's just come back, had 2 games all year from a long layoff, an injury and an operation. And from what I've seen from Luke, he looks like he swallowed a sheep, and he's clearly there on reputation. Everybody loves Luke Lewis, but fair dinkum, I could think of 2 or 3 other forwards who I'd be having in this side in front of him based on current form. Luke missed 5 tackles last week for his club game, and a couple of those missed tackles I think was because of exhaustion, and he can't be going into this arena not 100%. So I don't know if we'll be getting a lot of game time from Luke, but what we do get, he'll give 100%. When they bring Tony Williams on, firstly, look, I would start with him, but he's named on the bench. I just hope the coach plays him on the left side. He started his career at the Bulldogs on the right side, and he was nowhere near as effective. And I hope he comes on the left side to replace Ryan Hoffman. Ryan Hoffman is another one of those guys who you just love. He just gives his heart, and he's a real 80-minute player. But the fact of the matter is, I've seen all of his games this year for the Storm, and he dies with the ball all the time now, and he's not busting in the line, and he doesn't look dangerous with the ball. And his other back row partner, Bo Scott, while he's having probably his best season ever for Newcastle and for Wayne Bennett, I don't think I've ever seen him playing better, Bo Scott. I don't think Bo Scott and Ryan Hoffman are going to worry Queensland too much. So the 2 back rowers for New South Wales, I think, will be ineffective. Paul Gallen will pack down at lock. I would have liked to see him being one of the starting props, and I would have preferred to start with Trent Maroon, who has got all the skills, a good defender, good work rate, can step off both feet, and has got enormous ball skills and can provide second phase play, much better passer of the ball than Paul Gallen. Look, I'm sure Paul Gallen's incisive runs and go forward will be highly valuable for the New South Wales side, and they need him to have a big game so that guys like Jared Hayne and Robbie Farah can weave a little bit of magic. Which is something that you normally rely on your 6 and 7 for. Now, I applaud the selection of Josh Reynolds. I thought he should have been in the side last year, and he's actually a much better player this year. He's gone ahead and leaps and bounds. He's improved his defence. He's improved his ball skills. He has got a lot more spatial awareness now. He looks around and looks where he can pass the ball and where he can kick to, where before he was just doing things off instinct. I have to give his coach a rap for improving his game like that. And he's just a guy that you want to have in your side. And I think everybody hopes that Josh Reynolds has a great game, and I'll be very surprised if he doesn't. His club partner, Trent Hodgkinson, look, I think he's a very handy, I'll go as far as to say good halfback. I just don't know if that's good enough at this level. And he's certainly not a better halfback than the guy that he's replaced, Mitchell Pearce. And while I'm not a massive Mitchell Pearce fan, I don't think that there's a better halfback number 7 in New South Wales. Clearly, I think young Luke Brooks will be a better halfback, but he's only a baby, and at 19, it's probably far too young and inexperienced to bring him into this cauldron at Suncorp, and that's fair enough. Perhaps next year at some stage he can come onto the bench or come into the side and be introduced. But if you're going to make a replacement and get rid of Mitchell Pearce, let's do it for the future. As good a player as Trent Hodgkinson is, he's not the future of New South Wales, in my opinion. So I just don't understand the selection. I would have much preferred Mitchell Pearce to be there and let him stay there until Luke Brooks is ready to come in and replace him. I don't see the point in bringing a guy in like they've done. But look, it's happened. They've got the club combination. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that's going to do for Michael Jennings. He's never played with him before. Guys that are going to have to take bombs like Daniel Tupou. He's never taken a bomb from these guys before. So there's some combinations that these guys have to pick up. Jared Haynes never played with these guys before, and never has Robbie Farah. So it's all new to them, and they're going to the hardest place on the planet to try and win. First up at Suncorp Stadium. It all points to a Queensland win. I'd like to see the third game always on a neutral ground, so it's fair. New South Wales has also got an advantage when they play at ANZ. So next year they've got it right. There's a third game in Queensland, and the decider will probably come from that game, I would think. And I think that's how it should be all the time. Each team have a home game, and then the third game should be on a neutral ground. Playing in Perth, played in Adelaide, played in New Zealand, played in Melbourne, whatever. But it's too much of an advantage when each team has got a converted try advantage, and they get to have 2 games out of 3. It takes a little bit of an interest out of it for me. So look, based on the class, based on the form of the players, and based on the home ground advantage, everything points to a Brisbane Maroons win here. I can't have it any other way. It is rugby league, and certainly on the results that we've had in 2014, stranger things have happened. But I can't see anything but a Queensland victory in game 1. We'll have a look at game 2 when it's on New South Wales home turf, and we may very well get a different result. Let's hope so. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy your game on Wednesday, and I hope you subscribe to our tips at Champion Picks. We actually tipped 9 winners in a row this month, and subscribers are having a very good year. So I hope you jump on the bandwagon and join in. We have a lot of fun, and there's nothing like cheering home a winner. It's a great thing to do. So enjoy the game, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.